Well, welcome. Ryan Perras is joining me today to offer a testimonial here for working with us at Endeavor Agency. Ryan, good to see you again.
Hey, Cord, good to see you as well.
Now, you landed a whale of a job. I know you were pretty excited about that when things came through for you. What can you tell us about the job that you landed?
Yeah, no, I know you and I spoke a couple of months ago when I just started. I just hit my 6 month anniversary. I believe it was last Friday,
Nice.
and it's even better than when you and I last spoke. Absolutely blown away. So Farnsworth Group is a national, about 600 people, engineering and architecture design firm.
Hmm.
Having been previously been an engineer years and years ago, it's kind of fun to get back into the engineering and architecture space. Um, so what I'm doing is I report directly to the CEO.
Hmm.
My role is senior director of business. As you're aware, they did not really have a role for me when I joined, and
Yeah.
that's something we can talk a little bit more about. But um, through perseverance and talking with them, and they were able to dig deeper into my resume and really find out what I was capable of. So since I've been here, I've been involved in 6 different M&A transactions, leading those.
Nice.
I've now been put in charge of our risk management, which is proving to be quite an endeavor, but quite an important role in the company. And I basically have worked on a bunch of special projects for the company, some legal stuff, things like that. So it's exciting. I don't know what
Yeah.
my days are going to be when I go into the office, but I kind of like that. And I'm also continuously learning. So I'm learning new things, new skills, those sorts of things. So it's been great so far.
And you alluded to something really interesting because you've got a background in investment banking, private equity, and doing those kinds of projects. So you're very much involved in the M&A work. I think you mentioned you originally contacted the company about something different,
Yeah.
and they created this position once they saw what you had in your background. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I was frustrated with, and that's why we started working together, was,
Mhm.
I'd send, I'd answer an Indeed, ad or something like that. And it just wouldn't get any traction.
Right.
And Farnsworth had a position open that I referred to the Endeavor team
Hmm.
in regards to a business development job in terms of renewable energy.
Right.
And I had a previous background in that. As you know, I had a company that did wastewater recycling for the oil and gas business. So I thought that would be a pretty good position to apply to. As you know, I was moving from New Hampshire, the middle of nowhere, to Denver, so that was also a big factor. And this position was in Denver. So when I applied through Indeed, I basically got an immediate reply back that they had already filled the position.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, whatever. But however, your team had provided me with I think 6 different emails of pretty senior people in the company,
Right.
including the head of HR and also the head of the company's Karen Jensen, our CEO.
Hmm.
And so I had sent emails to each of those individuals. Thanks to you were the one to find those emails, send them direct emails, and while the Indeed application was kicked back and said we're not interested, 30 minutes after that, I got a phone call from the head of HR who said, wait a second, ignore that. I know we sent that to you, but we really want to talk to you. So I ended up having about an hour-long conversation with her. That progressed to then meeting a lot of the very senior people in person, including the CEO. But I think they were all very impressed by the fact that not only did I just send a blank, through Indeed, or I think it was Indeed or LinkedIn, one of those two.
Yeah.
I also pursued actual contact with them, and I think that really paid off. So,
Very
long-winded
nice.
answer, but that was
Important
a
answer,
huge help.
especially for any prospective or future clients, because I know when you originally started, and it's a little intimidating and daunting to start emailing a bunch of people you don't know, and that it
Mhm.
took a little bit of time to get in the rhythm of that. But then once you started doing it, you were like born again. You're like, oh my gosh, this stuff works, right?
It really did, and a lot of I think there was 5 or 6 companies that we really aggressively targeted.
Hmm.
And you don't always get the emails back, and if you do, it's sometimes, well, I'll kick this up to somebody else because that's not my area of expertise.
Right.
um, but it was perseverance. I mean, I know that you and I talked a lot about it because this was kind of an interesting challenge because we initially started looking for work in New Hampshire. And then when we found
Right.
out that my wife had to move out here to Denver, it was kind of a whole new strategy. But I think it was, I really enjoyed the weekly conversations with you and your team. It was always kind of, sometimes I needed a pep talk, frankly, because it was kind of a, frustrating process.
Right.
There were a lot of moving pieces. As you know, I was coming from a job that I was kind of took a step back during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking for something that was pretty senior. And it was just the perseverance that paid off. And, at the end of the day, it
That's
worked
awesome.
out perfectly. So,
Now, I know you've already sent us some referrals, so thank you very much for
yeah.
that. But if you're talking to a prospective new client, somebody you'd like to refer, what are some words of advice that you'd share with them to make sure they're successful?
So most of the people that I would refer to you would be, people around my age that have had a career or had a number of different positions. As you know, I was coming from a position where I'd sold a company, or we'd had a company that so I had worked for myself for many years. So a lot of those skills in terms of interview skills, I mean, the resume is pretty basic, but that's also something that's very helpful.
Right.
Um, I didn't really know how to put one together, particularly because I kind of had a gap in what I was doing.
Sure.
And then you also helped, as I took that position that I did not like, that remote position, that was a very junior position because of COVID and location.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of helped me explain that out of my resume, if that makes sense, and
Yeah.
gave me the confidence to go into someone like Farnsworth and say, you know, this is why that happened. Hey, it is what it is. I think I went
Right.
from a period of being kind of embarrassed about being in that position to, hey, look, I'm a entrepreneurial, I'm a survivalist. I was able to overcome challenges, and I think that message really paid off. So when
Awesome.
when I recommended this to other individuals, I basically said that you're at a stage in your life and in your career where you haven't really practiced these skills for a long time. And Endeavor really gave me the tools and the confidence to really use those tools and have, constructive conversations with senior management, interviews, those sorts of things. So all those
Nice.
tools that I was lacking, Endeavor really helped me with that. And I really could. I don't think I would be here without the support of the Endeavor team. So it really,
Okay, that warms
it's
my heart to
very
hear.
important.
Thank you. That
Yeah,
means everything. And thank you very
absolutely.
much for sharing all of your insights and thoughts today. We're
Yeah,
with you the rest of your career. So anytime something comes up, don't hesitate to reach out.
absolutely, Cord. Well, please give my best to the rest of the team, but great talking to you as well.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.